What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Friday Night Chill with Will. This is episode 16. Yeah, something like that. So, anyway, hope you're all having a good week. Mine was pretty okay this week, not gonna lie. Um, I got to see an old friend of mine that I hadn't seen in quite a while, so that was cool, man. And it kind of helped with what we're talking about this week. Um, yeah, has anything interesting happened before we really dive into tonight's topic? Not really. It was it's kind of a slow week at work. It's starting to slow down again. It got busy for like a month, and then now it's going to be like super slow again, and I can just feel it. So that's fantastic. So like I mentioned, saw a friend earlier this week, and it was really nice to see this person because like the last time I had seen them um, was probably like 2018. I want to say it was definitely before the pandemic happened. Um, so that's super fun. And so we got to catch up after a few years, and quite a lot has happened in that time. And I just kind of want to share this story because I think it sucks. Like a lot of it really sucks, but um, the outcome is pretty cool. So this is my friend Amanda, and Amanda is a really good friend of mine because she was kind of there for me at a very important time in my life, where things were weird at home, and like my living situation changed very quickly, and I was basically homeless for a little bit. I don't really talk about it a lot because I don't like to. And Amanda kind of like took me in, and her and her mom, and they let me stay with them for a bit, while I kind of worked my ass off to kind of get on my feet. And basically, um, I worked a couple jobs. I had the one I had at the time, which was at a laser tag store. That was my first job I had, and that's actually, well, I knew Amanda before then. We've known each other since high school, just through like mutual friends from like church and stuff. And so I did the laser tag job thing, and I ended up having to pick up something else because obviously a part-time job at a laser tag store wasn't really enough to live on even 10 years ago. So I picked up another job working at a warehouse, and I did both of those things. What's up, Thrasher? And so I did both of those things, and I think it was even in school at the time. That whole time is such a blur to me just because so much was happening. So yeah, so I think during this time, this is around 20. What time would this have been? It probably would have been the Christmas after Super Mega Force came out. Yeah, because I think yeah, because Dino Charge stuff was getting ready to drop. So it was around that time, and so I was doing school still because my living situation changed like in the middle of the semester, so that was super fun. So I had to basically finish the semester, and then I was doing two jobs at the same time, and I don't know how I did all of that, but I did it. And I did it for like 3 months. I think it happened around November-ish, and so I just worked a bunch and saved up a bunch of money, and by the time I think January came around, I was able to like, confidently start apartment hunting, and eventually I found this one that I am in right now, and I've kind of just been here ever since. So that's super fun. So yeah, so Amanda was a very a very good friend of mine, and still is. Um, you know, it's just life. It gets it. A lot of shit happens, and things go by, and you just kind of lose touch with people, and it's not because of anything in particular. It's not like you had like this big dramatic falling out or anything, but sometimes things just happen, like life just happens, and things get away from you, and things happen in your life that drastically impact the things you can do. So like Amanda, for instance, like I mentioned, I hadn't seen her since 2018. I was busy. We were both busy like with work and just adulthood and stuff like that. And then once 2020 happened, in addition to the pandemic happening, Amanda was also diagnosed with colon cancer, and she did chemo. She got the cancer removed. She did all of the stuff, and she got to the other side of it. But it happened during lockdown, so like I got to kind of like see the whole thing unfold. And Amanda actually kind of went viral because her doctor basically kind of fat shamed her, and that's why they weren't able to catch the cancer sooner, because they weren't taking her kind of requests seriously enough. And so ever since then, Amanda, she went viral, and that's not even like in a fake sense. Like, she really went viral. She was on the Today Show. It was surreal, to say the least, to see her gain such a big platform. But she's used that platform to become like an advocate for people who have had similar situations with their doctors. So anyway, I just wanted to take this portion of the of the show to like just kind of shout Amanda out, because she has maintained that platform. She's getting ready to do. She's already done some trips to Congress to advocate for colon cancer, like diagnosis and like ways we can catch this earlier and things of that nature, and just insurance, just general better health insurance for Americans. Like, Amanda's doing some super fucking cool stuff, and I'm just blown away. And it was really good to see her again. It's just so like I said, all that stuff was going on, and like while it's happening, it's kind of weird for me because like I want to be respectful of what the other person's got going on in their life, especially like when it's something like cancer. Like, you don't know what their limitations are. You don't know what they have to be doing and all that stuff, and you don't want to seem like a burden on people. And I don't know, I just feel like I probably could have reached out sooner, because things could have possibly gotten worse, and then what if it did? But I mean, ultimately it doesn't matter, because things worked out fine for her, and she's on the other side of it now. And it's funny because like we met up for dinner, and we just kind of we're just shooting the shit, catching up, catching up on all the hot goss with like all of our former mutual friends, because apparently they had a falling out with both of us, so that's fun. Um, so yeah, just kind of like catching up on funny stories like that, and it was cool. Um, but at the end, I kind of like apologized to her because like I felt like I wasn't that good of a friend because like I always felt like I could have been doing more and I just never did for some reason. Like maybe it's because I was afraid or something of getting too involved and what that would entail and the repercussions that could come from that. And the thing is, like, Amanda didn't even bat an eye when she answered that like I was a good friend and just like I have a lot of I guess I just have a lot of general insecurities about that, but as I've mentioned on this show before, especially within the last couple years, just when it comes to friendships and stuff like that, um, it's just a little difficult for me, and sometimes I feel like I'm not doing enough, and it's just kind of nice to be reassured for once that you're doing what you can, and what you're doing is enough. So hi Colin. Colin is here in the chat. So yeah, so after I saw Amanda this past Tuesday, it was Tuesday night. um I wasn't sure what I wanted to talk about tonight, surprise surprise. But after I thought about it a little bit, it kind of made sense, just kind of with what's going on with some other relationships in my life at the moment. And I wanted to like talk a little bit about intimacy and intimacy within both friendships and romantic relationships, because there is intimacy in your friendships. I think people just don't think of it that way. Um, because like there's certain friends you divulge certain information to, and then there's other friends that you just divulge everything to. Um, just about everything. I think it's healthy to have some secrets between friends. Like I don't think it's a big deal if you're hiding. I think we could all stand to know less about each other sometimes, but but even still, there is a degree of intimacy, in your friendships and all your relationships. And so I just kind of wanted to talk about that tonight, um, because Amanda just kind of reminded me. Um, I don't know. She kind of reminded me of like what it means to have that, and to have like that comfortability. I don't even think that I still said that right, but I don't fucking care. That level of comfort with someone. There you go. She reminded me what that was like. I gotta tell you guys. And I don't know if maybe it's just the pandemic and all that stuff, and like the way things changed with friends or whatever. But I don't know. It's like really hard for me to like. I don't know. Like sometimes I feel like it's super hard to open up to people, and then other times, oh, touch the camera. Stop doing that. But then other times, I feel like say too much too quickly. And I guess it's just because, like, I don't know. It's, like, hard to know. I guess because it's hard to know, like, how far you can go with people, I guess. Because I feel like after the pandemic, certain people were more vocal about, what they were willing to accept, within friend dynamics and stuff, and got a little bit more vocal about kind of like drawing boundaries and stuff like that. And I guess I just okay. Sorry, I got a notification that it disconnected. Hopefully we're back. Um, Let me. Oh, the chat is up on the corner. That's cool. I didn't catch that. Um, Let me get rid of that. All right, cool. Hopefully you're all still there. If you want to just tap in the chat just so I know you're here and I'm not speaking into the void, that would be fantastic. Anyway, what was I saying? Damn it. But yeah, I don't know how far I can go with people anymore, I feel sometimes. Just because, I don't know, I feel like certain people have such, you know, um, I've been on the whole time. Thank you. I wasn't sure. um, yeah, I don't know, man. I'm just not sure anymore. Like, because some people, like, I don't know, I just see people just being so much more vocal about their boundaries when it comes to their friendships and stuff, and, like, the stuff they're willing to, I don't know, deal with or put up with. And I guess that's kind of, like, intimidated me in a way where it's just, like, I don't really feel like, I don't know, like, I feel like it's hard to talk to people now because it's like hard to talk to new people, I guess I should say, because I don't know, like, how far exactly I can go. And I guess part of it is, like, it could be like a trial and error type of thing, where, like, if you do cross a line, someone can just tell you. Um, but I don't know. It's, for me, it just seems like there's a lot more anxiety now, just with all relationships for me. Um, and especially, like, with dating and stuff, like, I haven't dated in a while. Um, I had a few flings last year, but it wasn't anything crazy. And, well, it wasn't even really last year. It was like the year before that, 2021. It was kind of like flings for, like, the fall and the winter. And then 2022 rolled around, and I kind of was just in like a situationship type of thing. And I don't know, man. Like, I think that situation in particular just kind of fucked with my perception of intimacy because of what it was. And because, like, for me, like, being physically intimate with someone is, like, a lot for me. And, like, I'm all about flirting or whatever, and, like, I'm down to flirt, but and like, that's fun, it's fun to do that. But when it comes time to, like, actually be intimate with someone, um I don't think I've made, like, the best judgment of that stuff in the past. And it works out fine in the moment, and I think ultimately, like, you can, like, have a fun time, like, being physically intimate with someone. But I think what the problem is, though, um, is you kind of have to make sure you recognize what the situation is when you're doing it. And the problem I had with this particular situation I was in was I kind of caught feelings for the other person. And so it kind of messed up everything, if I'm honest. Um, it was kind of like a friends with benefits kind of thing. And, I felt like we were very communicative with one another, with what we wanted and what our expectations were. And we were very good at saying what we wanted the boundaries of our relationship to be, but we weren't very good at actually executing those boundaries. And so they got crossed a couple times, and it ended up being a very complicated situation, right? So like the last time I saw this person, and I'm not gonna say names or anything like that because that's none of your business. But I do just kind of want to share my experience on this. But yeah, so like the last time I saw that person, it was Christmas Day, and I haven't seen them since, but we talk still. And from what I can tell, and this is just me observing, it's all I can do, and kind of lurking in a pathetic kind of way. Their life seems to kind of have reverted to what it was when we were fooling around and doing our thing or whatever. And now that has very much not been the case for me. It's really hard for me to talk to new people now because I don't want it to happen again, because I got really close with this person and I confided in them probably more than I should have, and I ended up really hurt at the end of it. And it's like you want to maintain something with this person because like they're not a bad person, and you're not a bad person. It's just things aren't aligned where they need to be for anything to really happen between the two of you. And that's kind of the part I struggled with, because I don't know, for whatever reason with this person, I had never really experienced this level of intimacy before. And I've been in a handful of relationships, like 3, I think. And it was so bizarre to be 29 and talking to this person and having these moments of intimacy that I just realized I hadn't really had before. I guess because I had just never made myself available to do so. I don't know. It was strange. Like I had never I like cried in front of this person, and I can't even, like, I can only remember like a handful of times, not even a handful of times where it's just where I've done that. And this seemed to happen very quickly. And, I constantly go back and forth and think about, like, was I just like getting ahead of myself and just excited that someone was giving me the time of day and just like being intelligent? Or did I actually like properly fall for this person? And, I told Amanda this story, um, and she had mentioned that it seemed like, you know, I felt pretty hard for this guy. And I did. And, she had said, what did she say? Can't remember exactly, but I don't know. The point was basically that you know, to just kind of trust what I was feeling, and that I was probably feeling that way because like I was finally like having needs met that I hadn't communicated before. And when I think about it, you know, it makes sense in that context, in that way. Um, this person was kind of samey to the people I've dated in the past. I don't try and compare them all because they are their own people and different in their own way. But this person had um, qualities that I wasn't used to experiencing with someone I was involved with. And I think I realized, like when I was talking to this person, I'm like, wow, like this quality is like really nice. And this is super nice to just be around and to have that. And I guess I just had never, I had just never experienced those things before. And so I got to like truly, I, I don't want to say fall in love because it wasn't like, I don't think it was love. But I was definitely becoming very attached to this person. And it was very quick. So, and so like once that whole thing stopped, I guess I was, or am still, kind of afraid to trust myself in the relationships I can create in the future and how intimate I can be with people. Um, not that it's any of your business, but I'm going to divulge this information. Like, I haven't slept with anyone or hooked up with anyone or really done anything since that day. And I can't even bring myself to do it out of like like just like a physical desire type of thing, like a being horny type of thing. Like I can't even bring myself to do that. I've had an app installed for a couple months now, I think, at this point, and I go on it for like 2 minutes maybe at a time. I just like scroll through, after I've sat through like the 50 billion ads that have just been inundated throughout the app. But yeah, I scroll through, see the same like 10 fucking people on it, and then I just close it out and I don't do anything. And someone attempted talking to me like a few weeks ago on the thing, and we were having like a little back and forth type of thing. And it was one of those things where like I kind of just didn't want to deal with introductions and stuff, and like because there's a certain formula, with those apps, and just kind of like how the conversations can go, even with the most innocent of scenarios, right? Even if it is just someone like reaching out to, make a connection genuinely, without just like trying to be like a hookup or something like that. And, like I was having this conversation with this person, and like the guy seemed nice or whatever. But, at the same time, I was having this conversation, and I'm just like, man, I can tell like I'm just not in the headspace to even deal with this. Like, I don't want anything to do with it. It just seems so, I don't know, monotonous. It just seems pointless. I'm going to do like all this work, and it probably will amount to nothing once I see this person in real life. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, that's kind of been that whole thing. I ended up just kind of blocking the person, just because it wasn't anything they did. It was a me problem. It's definitely a me problem. I probably could have just told them that, but I don't know. I just would rather do it that way. And so I did it that way. And yeah, it's probably kind of shitty for me to do that, but it is what it is. I'm hopeful that person doesn't take it too personally. I don't know, man. It's just it's hard. Because like within my friendships and stuff, like I try to make sure I'm not pouring too much of this shit out, and I want to make sure I'm not repeating the same fucking thing all the fucking time, regardless of how much it is bothering me. Because I mean, at a certain point, like, what the fuck are they supposed to be able to do? You know what I mean? Other than like try and talk me through it and just be like, oh, things will get better. Just hang in there. And then just put a cat right here, hanging in there. So yeah. But it's also weird because like at the same time, I have, I guess, made friends in like the time since Christmas or whatever, when that whole thing went down. And I guess it's definitely because of the other person. It's definitely not because of me. So, spoiler alert, Achilles and I have actually become, friends in the past, since the beginning of the year. Um, I'm gonna be honest. I've just only seen him in the community. I haven't like really interacted with him before a few months back when he he reached out to me, with a Twitter DM or whatever, and we just kind of like talked for a bit, and it was, I don't know, it was just like random, but like we talked for a bit. He invited me on his podcast or whatever, and we like talked, and um, we hung out at Japan World Heroes like last month, and I don't know, like I guess it was just kind of nice. I feel like I've had to like work, like do all the heavy lifting, when it comes to like finding friends and stuff, and finding a new group of friends that don't suck ass. Um, and he's been the first person in a very long time. Not too long, because Colin's here. But he's been the first person in a long while who's I can tell like genuinely wants to be a friend. And it's very, it's nice because in this particular community, and just being in it for as long as I have been, just like the Power Rangers Tokusatsu fandom, for being like super niche. A lot of interactions with people are very transactional, and I have been guilty of doing that, just kind of talking to people just for the sake of talking to them, just because if I'm friendly with them, then perhaps that will open up an opportunity for me in the future to do something cool, even though I don't really give a fuck about the person I'm talking to. I've done that, and it's not great. And in a similar vein, I've kind of like, in the same vein that like Hawk reached out to me, I've had people reach out to me to like talk to me and like try and be friends with me, but it's just like sometimes you just don't want to be friends with people, and that's perfectly valid. Sometimes, and like not everybody is gonna be your friend. Like like that's something like a lot of people need to accept. Not everybody's gonna be your friend, and I've had people approach me in the same way that Hawk did, and I could just tell we weren't really gonna vibe, and it was just something about their character, something about their personality. Like it's just, they thought we would be great friends, but I thought otherwise. So we weren't. you know and so I don't know, man. It's been very nice. These, like I said, this community has a lot of interactions that are very transactional, and everyone just seems so fucking fickle too. Like I feel like at the drop of a hat, everyone's just kind of ready to like turn on you, and just like, I don't know, like they'll talk about how great you are, and then like the next second they'll be talking a bunch of shit about you, and it's whatever. I guess some people are able to just do that. um I don't know. I can just, I think I'm able to pinpoint a little bit better when people are being genuine. So, and Hawk has appeared very genuine. So Hawk, if you're listening to this, thank you for reaching out, because I've definitely appreciated having you around, especially with Colin gone, because Colin decided to move to fucking Maryland for school, just kind of like leaving me by myself over here in California, no big deal or anything. But it's okay. You want to be an animator or whatever. It's fine. I get it. But no, like, real talk. Like, I do appreciate that. And I feel like moments like that with Hawk, and then like seeing Amanda earlier this week, have just kind of reminded me that I have the capacity to, have those intimate relationships, whether it be with friends or loved ones or, romantic partners or whatever. Yeah, they just kind of reminded me that I still have that capacity. I think I'm just working through some pain at the moment. And, I appreciate the people around me who are being patient with me, while I figure out, how to get through all of that and how we can move forward. And, as far as the relationship or whatever with, the person I mentioned that I fell for, I don't know what that whole thing looks like yet. I go back and forth constantly, where it's like, some days I feel like we're cool and everything's fine. It's kind of like how it was, but it also kind of isn't, because like I haven't seen this person, since Christmas. And then other days I'm just reminded of like how much pain I felt and still feel sometimes. And then so I don't want to I'm like, I can't stand this person. I don't even want to think about them or anything. And I don't know, man. I'm like torn, because like I guess maybe part of me just doesn't want to let go and like hold on to some kind of hope that maybe things will work out. But I think something I also need to realize and accept a little bit more is that whatever's meant to happen will happen when it's supposed to happen. And sometimes it's not when we think it is. It's just kind of my general philosophy. I just feel like things will always happen the way they need to and when they're supposed to. Even as agonizing and aggravating as it can be, I truly believe that everything happens when it's supposed to. So maybe it's just a case of wrong place, wrong time. I don't know. Or maybe it just wasn't meant to happen at all. I don't know. But yeah. Anyway. So yeah, guys, I just wanted to share that with you all tonight. I've been doing Ranger related stuff for a bit, and I just kind of felt like doing something a little bit more introspective again, because I have really enjoyed that aspect of the show, and of doing that with you guys. You know, kind of lends more credence to the whole Friday night chill thing, you know, when things are a little bit more relaxed and I just kind of talk about something a little bit more grounded with you all. And I hope you don't mind. You know, I definitely appreciate you guys tuning in, you know, for me to talk about just kind of whatever the fuck. So, listen to Jill Scott's Cross My Mind, because the story sounds like it a bit. I will cue it up in Spotify after I get off the stream. But yeah, guys, you know, I appreciate you all being patient with me and letting me use this outlet for something besides like my nerdy obsessions. You know, I think some people have it confused like what this show is, and that's fair because I still don't know. But I don't know. I just kind of want to use this as kind of like an outlet to just kind of, you know, just talk about stuff that I'm thinking about currently. And even if I'm not like an expert on it, just kind of just my thoughts on stuff. You know, and sometimes that means talking about stuff besides people in spandex clad suits and all that. But any hoozles, I think we'll call it quits for tonight here, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're listening to this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, any of those places, if you would be so kind to leave a rating for the show, I would really appreciate it. Quite a few of you have on Spotify, so I think it has like a 4.6 rating, so that's fun. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you guys tuning in on all those other platforms I have. I hope you guys have enjoyed those versions of the show. And yeah, I appreciate you guys tuning in. It's, you know, same spiel as every week. I honestly appreciate you guys tuning in. But anywho, we'll be done for tonight. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you next week for another Friday Night Chill.